fast life, the fast living. They see the ambition, they know I'm past driven. Look, we are not the same, this is not a game. I be swerving through the city in and out of lanes. Yeah, 'cause if I see it, then I want it.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Spot Real Talk. My name is Tiara.
I'm Tiffany.
I'm Ron.
And we are back to discuss BMF. Season 2 just premiered, and we are going to talk about episode 1, which was titled Family Dinner. And I'm glad that they showed us that little flashback of everything that happened last season, because it was so much. Lots of deaths. And, they're coming back. We flash forward a little bit, and we're kind of seeing, 2005 in St. Louis, and Terry is packing his things up. Looks like he's trying to flee to the border. And he's having one last family dinner with his crew before the cops bust in, and he had mentioned that Meech had already been arrested. So it's just giving us a little preview of what's to come. Mm-hmm. Which we, if you've seen the BMF documentaries, if you know the story, then you know how things went down. So then, it flashes back to the 1980s, where Meech is in Las Vegas. It's fight weekend. You know how fight weekend goes. It's always been a big deal. All the big ballers are out flashing. And of course, the drug dealers are out too. So
oh, yeah.
That's exactly what Meech was doing. He was making moves, getting the drugs, and he looked like he had run into a little snafu at the airport, because cops were stepping up their game, introducing the drug dogs.
Does he know how lucky he was? I mean, to come off the escalator and you got all wrapped up in drugs, and even the cop, when he turned, he noticed you walk, back down. And most, I was thinking the cop was going to say, hey, hold up a minute, because cops get a little suspicious when you don't follow through. But I'm telling you, the boy got anything.
Yeah, well, he took the bus.
Yeah,
he left the airport and took the bus. Smart. Because he would have been hemmed up had he tried to go through the airport.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's one thing I like about Meech, though, because as flashy and as hard-headed as he can be, he is perceptive. Yeah. And he knows how to think on his feet sometimes, so he's getting, his game up. This whole episode was about him trying to recover from his fallout with Terry, because we know at the end of last season, they were beefing. Terry decided that he wanted out the game and that he was going to pursue the limo business with the money that he and Charles, that he got from the lawsuit against the doctors.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Terry is like, I'm not trying to be involved. They got into a lot of mess last season. And so it was, rightfully so for him to want to step back and pursue a safer avenue. But Meech is still trying to recover. He is looking for new drugs. He doesn't have a plug. He has nothing. So he's basically building from the ground up.
Right.
So that's where.
I'm sorry. I just want to say with Terry, I can understand Terry. I mean, he has a baby. He's got a family, and he wants to go straight. And the limousine business seems like a good avenue to go straight with his dad. It's just that he needs more strategy, and I think he got it later on with Markeisha, because she gave him a good head pointer. But strategy is the name of the game, because just like Meech said, you making $10-$20 a run, that ain't no money. And I'm sure that cut on a lamp in Terry's head.
Yeah, that was in the preview for next week. It looks like Markeisha is telling him, like, look, you need to go to the airport. That's where all the big money is at.
Yeah.
Right. That's great. You can tell that they're not making that much money right now, because moms are still at Wendy's.
Yep.
Which is part of the reason why she ain't trying to give Pop no love.
She tired.
She's tired, right? She's tired, and they still broke. And they don't want to take Meech and them dirty money, so that's part of the reason.
Yeah, and you add to that, they're still trying to get established. Like, Terry is just now going to set up the insurance for the business. He also failed the licensor test, so it was like, how are you telling your dad that you're good to go for a second car, and you didn't even pass the license test?
That's what I said to my son. He said, but then you hear, he said, maybe he retook it and we didn't see it, because I said, the guy took it from him. I said he didn't pass it. He was like, no, didn't you hear him say that he aced it? I thought he didn't pass it anyway because they were talking. Because you
Well,
remember,
look, back in the day, you need to take the written test, which he failed because he was sitting there yapping, and then you got to take the driver's exam. So I don't know at what point he did both. All we saw is that he failed the written exam, and the written exam is not going to give you a license to go drive a limousine or anything.
They didn't let him finish.
Who's to say? Because Terry is a smart dude.
He is smart. That's what I'm saying. It wasn't like he just was running his mouth.
No, he just running his mouth. Yeah.
Yeah, so he might not have got to finish, but maybe of the answers that he did answer, maybe that was good enough to get a passing score. Who knows?
I don't know. I remember that test. I remember that test real well.
Yeah. But it's interesting how the family dynamic is, because it's still, like you said, it's a lot of tension even amongst mom and dad. But then you reintroduce LaWanda, who comes back now that Terry's out the game. She feels like it's a safe bet, to bring the baby back and establish a life with Terry again. But Terry finds out after eavesdropping on the conversation with Lucille and LaWanda that it was all a plan set up, a long time ago, that they kind of schemed to get him out the game.
And I think that's gonna push him back in the game.
Yeah,
exactly.
Because when he said, I don't know who to trust and everything, I was like,
okay,
he can get back in the game. He and LaWanda are done. That's gonna push him closer to Markeisha.
Hey, help me out. Somebody gotta help me out with this, because he was pretty upset by what he overheard. Now, what was the scheme? Was the scheme the whole baby issue and the whole nine? Was that the whole scheme?
Last season, Lucille came at LaWanda and she was like, "You're enabling Terry." So that's why LaWanda ended up saying she was going to stay in Pennsylvania with her cousin. She took the baby. And that was supposed to be like a manipulation to make Terry like get out, like, okay,
get out the game.
It's not safe for me, it's not safe for your baby.
But that's understandable.
And if you want your family,
that's totally understandable.
You're not saying you're not wrong.
But I'm saying for Terry to be so upset. I mean, look, Terry, you came back, you got clean, and now she wants to come back. So what's the big deal?
He felt lied to.
Yeah,
he feels manipulated. That's what the issue was.
Well, he manipulated himself. He got out of the game. So if he's out of the game and he's running a straight, he wants to do that straight now. What's wrong with his lady coming back with the baby? I don't see a problem with it.
I think he wants to feel like he made the decision on his own. He wants to feel like this was my choice and not feel like I was kind of manipulated into.
He feels he was manipulated. That's the issue for him.
He just wanted to get back in the game. He just wanted to. He wanted to. Look,
no, he was really trying. You can see that he was trying.
Yeah, I know he wants to get back in the game. Look, the limousine thing is cool. I got you, but
it's the money.
It's that money, and Meech and the two of them were good at what they did, and he knows full well that Meech can't do it by himself because he needs the brains of the operation, which is Terry.
Yep. But you could tell that, when they left outside of that basketball game and Terry seen K9 shoot old boy, point blank range.
He was like,
he's like, okay, like, I don't really need that in my life. And later on in the episode, Meech came back to him, trying to entice him back into the lifestyle. And Terry was like, you trying to deal with K9. Did you not just see what he did to old boy? Like, what are you doing?
Over a game? Over a basketball game.
Right.
Yeah, so Terry always has been the more reasonable one.
He's always been more cautious.
Very cautious, yes.
But I think that's why, sometimes you really want to, look over let me see, Terry's younger than Meech. So you want to look over your brother. And Meech, he's hot-headed, he's quick to just make little sporadic moves. And I know Terry feels a certain way about that. So I can understand Terry wanting to try to get back at some point, or some level, to try to horn in Meech, because Meech, like you said, that move with K9, that is not a move you want to make. I mean, if somebody gives me a gift of somebody's tongue and tells me if I don't follow through,
That's my problem with Meech right there, because not only did you see K9 shoot old boy in the head, but then he gifts you Big L's lips in a box, and you still like, okay, let's do this.
And then he straight up told him, if you don't deliver, I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah.
You and your brother and everybody in your crew.
Well, that's
So
yeah, I wouldn't want to rock with him either. But I think he was just so Meech was so ambitious and everything. That there's no way that I'm gonna mess this up.
And I think that it's always been in Meech's mind that I'm going to surpass everybody that is, the top dog right now anyways. So K9 might be at the top currently, but I think Meech has always had bigger aspirations, especially with this multi-city takeover plan. He always knew that he was going to exceed where he was and where his plugs were.
And I think he has it in his head. He'll probably take out K9 at some point too. Because he has to, if he's not going to tell Terry, okay, I'm in this with K9, and K9 is talking about if I fail, he's going to kill everybody. So, you can only get in there and think, okay, I got to take this dude out because my whole family is involved based on just what I got into. Because he can't back out now with K9. Once he sealed the deal, that's done. So what else you can do?
Yeah, and I thought it was, Meech, he's a very good person about, I think people are drawn to his personality, and of course, his reputation in their neighborhood adds to it, because he's probably the only person that could bring the 50 boys and the 12th Street boys together at the way they was feuding.
True.
And so he really sold it to them, this ain't about your personal beefs and issues with each other. Y'all want to get this money. Everybody gonna have their own house, their own car, their own everything. And so there's going to be no need for that. And I think that he's a great salesman. Despite his flashiness, I know that's what a lot of people dinged him for, is being too flashy, but he really does sell himself very well.
And
when you see the documentary of the real Meech, I mean, that's how he was. He was just everybody eats in my crew. Everybody was we ain't fighting over no women. We all getting this money, and everybody bought into that. That's why he got so huge.
Yeah, that's why.
But even in reality, that's what Black folks got to learn about business. It's about relationships. Yes. And this is what Meech was trying to, bring together with the two groups. It's about relationships, man, and connections, because we can go anywhere we want if we got that relationship. And that's what I love about his move. And that's why I think, what we know in real life is unfortunate, but, he was certainly doing the right thing as far as I'm concerned in terms of, modeling and building on relationships.
Pooling the resources.
If I sound a little wispy because I got a little cold. I'm coming off of one, y'all, but I'm doing my best.
Yeah. It's all good, Ron. You hanging in there with us.
I'm gonna hang in there.
But I was going to say, hence the name Black Mafia Family. He made everybody feel like we are a family, all for one and one for all.
That's right.
So, and I think that, that was especially appreciated by B. Mickey, even though he didn't necessarily show it this episode because he got a lot going on in the background. But last season, that was a big point of contention between him and Meech, is that Terry was always going to be Meech's number two. B. Mickey always felt like, I'm putting in all this work for you, but I'm never going to get that spot because of Terry. But now that Terry's out the picture, Meech granted him that position, and it's a big deal for him. But we also know he got Detective Bryant in his ear.
I was going to say, that's a gift and a curse, because now he's in a position where he has to snitch.
Yep.
And stuff. And so that, I don't know how y'all feel about that.
I'm not feeling good about it at all.
But this is where relationships actually take place, and this is where communications take place. B. Mick has got to go back to Terry and say, okay, this is what's going on. Meech got to go back to Meech and say, this is what's up. I'm between a rock and a hard place with this Detective Bryant. Bryant's hands are too damn dirty to be trying to blackmail anybody. And Meech understands that. So they got to come together, man. It's not time to keep your mouth shut. You got to go and talk and work this thing out, because I hate to see the position that B-Nick is in right now. It ain't good.
Get him killed. It'll get him killed.
Almost definitely.
They got Kato killed.
Yeah. He gonna have to speak up.
Yeah.
And not only that, but now Detective Bryant is threatening to pin those dead bodies on B. Mickey, even though one of them he actually did do.
Oh, two of the
But
bodies. Both of the bodies be mixed because he's not saying. Notice he didn't say Lamar's body. He said
Kato and
J-Mo.
And Jay, right.
B. Mick did kill J-Mo.
He killed both of them, right?
He
But I'm
killed both
saying
of
one of those he killed Kato kind of like because she killed his partner Lopez, and that was part of it. And she was also a snitch, so he was trying to make it seem like I did this favor for you because she killed your partner. So that whole thing with Detective Bryant though, it's not looking good, and the fact that he has this new partner, Veronica Jen is her name. I'm not feeling her. They saying she was promoted from wherever she came from, and now she's relocated to this new department. And the way she kind of hit Dink with the car, I'm like, she don't play by the rules. She's not like sis on Raising Canaan. She's not the green cop.
No, she's gonna be. That's probably why what's his name likes her, because Sanchez was by the book, and by her hitting Dink, that showed Bryant like, oh, okay, she's like-minded, and that's probably why he ended up and showed her the
curveball.
Right. Yeah, we're gonna see her.
So let's talk about that curveball, because I think most people thought that Lamar was dead at the end of last season. But Ron, I mean, you always say it. If it ain't a headshot,
you can't. Look, guys. I don't know nothing about killing nobody because I ain't never killed nobody. But one thing I know for sure, if you're gonna put somebody down, you got to make sure he's down for good. And ain't but one way to do that, and that's with a headshot. This body thing, you hit or miss. But I don't get it, because now you got Lamar waking up, and it's gonna be a mess.
Listen.
And he got a colostomy bag. He has to wear a colostomy bag for the foreseeable future. I'm gonna tell you.
But listen, that's why I didn't think Lamar was dead. For real, because if their pattern is after the real Lamar, which his name is not really Lamar in real life, that guy is still alive. Right. And he does have a colostomy bag. So I was like, so they did put some truth in it. That's why I was like, okay, Lamar, if they stay true to the story, Lamar ain't dead. And and the other thing I thought was because brother Eric Kofi, what's his name?
Kofi
Abrifa. Yeah. He killed that role and everything, and he really lit last season. Last season was really lit behind him. I was like, the show would really be missed without him as well. That's another reason why I was like, I think we're going to see him again.
Yep. So let's talk about some predictions though. So how do you think that Lamar, his coming back, will shake things up? Do you think that he's going to rat and tell who shot him, or B, now that he sees that his crew has linked up and they've all meshed under this umbrella with Meech, how he gonna feel about that? And are they gonna find out who he is, because he's been hidden under an alias? Are they gonna find out that he's alive again?
If they stay true to the story, I know I said I was talking about that from the documentary. In real life, Meech got shot. He got shot a few times. One time in the butt, one shot in the butt and stuff. So if they pattern after the documentary, I think maybe around the season finale or close to it or whatever, Meech may get shot.
I think if they deviate from what we know would be the norm, it seems to me Lamar might come back and snitch. That would be but then Lamar's crazy too, so he may want to get.
I think he's gonna act like he don't know, that he don't remember and stuff, so he can get back on the street. And so he can get street tested.
Yeah.
I don't think he gonna snitch.
I can't see him snitching.
I don't think he gonna snitch.
I have to take that back in the sense of, how would be the best way to get him back. But Lamar's not that kind of thinker. So yeah, I think he'll go back to the streets and try to get revenge in that.
Yeah, I can definitely see him going up to his old crew and be like, oh, you thought I was gone. That's all it took for you to flip, huh?
He might kill some of them.
Yes.
Some of them 12th Street boys.
Or try to get in with him. But I don't know. How do you find out whether or not he's alive or not? You won't know till he hits the street.
Right. And that's why I think he's going to have the advantage.
Oh, yeah.
Because right now, Meech feels that he only got to deal with K9. But I think it's going to be another issue because T is getting ready to start messing with Markeisha. Markeisha is married, and Markeisha's man is in the game. So that might start a war too with, with Meech and them. That's going to be trouble. So Meech might be thinking, okay, I got to worry about keeping K9 happy and stuff. And then I got to worry about like protecting my brother if there's an issue with old boy behind Markeisha. He ain't going to probably even see Lamar coming because he thinks, they were celebrating this thing. He was like, Lamar is dead. Da, da, da. He not going to see it coming. Right. That's how Lamar going to have the advantage.
So what do you think about K9, Lamar hooking up with K9?
K9 looks like he's not for the nonsense.
No,
Lamar is like a person that likes to be on his. Yeah.
I mean, just look, right now Lamar's got nothing to come back to. He's got somebody.
He has nothing to lose, and people who don't have anything to lose, dangerous.
But but I was thinking, you gotta slip in there some kind of way, because Meech pretty much with his relationship factors has tied up everything. So
he'll probably be on some vengeance stuff. What if he comes back and tries to kill what's her face?
Markeisha?
No, Cash Doll. What's Cash Doll's name on the show again?
Isn't her name Keisha on the show too? I might be tripping. I'm thinking about Markeisha.
I forgot her name.
Yeah, I forgot. But that's a good point though, because they definitely had some friction.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say they definitely had a lot of friction last season, and then that whole like love triangle they had going on where the guys are feuding over her. That could definitely come back up again, and we know that she's in this season. So
yeah, she's in this season. He almost killed her.
Right,
he almost killed her when he got shot, and he snuck through her window and everything. If it wasn't for the baby Zoe coming in there, and seeing him choking her out, she would have died. And she was the one that gave up the spot where he was too. So I think he's going to be on some vengeance type stuff once he really comes through, and he might circle back on her.
Yep.
And he definitely going to be looking for Meech and Terry.
But he's going to need somebody for a good long while because he's got to recoup, and that's not going to be overnight. So I don't know. This is going to be interesting how they bring him back into the fold. But, yeah, that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, so I enjoyed this episode. I definitely think, things are going to pick up. The first episode is always kind of like the slower part of things, and then it ramps up for the rest of the season. But it looks like next week, we already talked about how Markeisha is telling Terry about the airport, and that's where the big money is. But then, it seems like Charles is kind of telling Terry, like, you need to stop wearing that jewelry. This is a Christian family business. That's not the image we're trying to portray. So I think that further just helps him back into the game. He is not about that lifestyle. Terry is, as much as he is very level-headed and intelligent, he still likes to flash a little bit here and there. Even though he's not as flashy as Meech, he still got a little flash to him. So yeah, and we already know with him fantasizing about Markeisha, it's only a matter of time before they are bumping up in the bed together and LaWanda's kicked to the curb.
I felt sorry for LaWanda when she was like, "What you thinking about?" I was like, "Oh my gosh, he laying up with her thinking about somebody else."
Yeah, that's a trip. I was also a little surprised that Nicole. And I was thinking about like how she has this smart mouth towards Lucille and stuff. And I know that a part of it comes with being a teenager and growing up in your rebellious years. But I wonder also if, losing her friend like that, her friend getting killed last season, if that isn't part of her acting out as well. So I wonder if they're going to explore a little bit more of like what's been going on with Nicole.
Well, one thing for sure, Lucille handled it at the dinner table. That's for sure.
Handled
it because she literally got the hand.
She got the hand. So I was gonna say I'm not mad at Lucille for that because Nicole can definitely go on who can get the hands list.
Yes, because she literally
you don't even have to go on the list. She already got them. I mean,
right.
She got
Right.
I think Miss Lucille, like, Nicole got it from all the frustration she's feeling from, the Meech to Terry and Charles situation.
Yep.
Nicole run off the mouth. She caught the brunt of all that frustration.
Let me ask a question because, while Charles always wants to play the Christian role, this Christian family, and just as you said, Lucille seems to be really bottled up with a lot of this stuff. And part of it is about money. And I'm a little cross between what Charles is playing because he says on one hand he's a Christian family, but he allows them back in the house. He knows what's going on. And in some regards, he can't stop it. But you kind of enable it when you allow,
I was about to say, Meech didn't feel
he
comfortable
knows,
coming back.
Yeah,
Terry
but
wasn't in the game anymore.
Terry was out the game. Meech said he didn't feel
Meech
comfortable
doesn't live
coming
there
back.
anymore.
no, but there's something about Charles that kind of makes me think if I had taken a little bit of that money.
Oh, in real life, you
Yeah.
did see him fold.
I mean,
Right.
even in this, it's like that. There seems to be this their division within themselves. I think is, hey, we're living like this when we could be living better, but we're Christians. And what I think I'm seeing, and particularly in Lucille, is, she's very frustrated with where she is right now. She doesn't want to work at Wendy's, and Charles can only do but so much, that he can do, particularly during that period of time.
He was working at a factory.
Right.
So,
but you can see where they're trying their best to have a clean, honest business.
yeah.
Yes.
So like I commend them for that part, at least trying. But I mean, there's so many different economic factors that go into why they are still stuck in the position that they're in, and why eventually, Charles did fold.
Yeah.
So I think about it too from the perspective, it's like they're getting this business off the ground, but it's what late 80s they say.
And plus in Detroit, you know about that, like the job situation was tough there. And also, I mean, starting a business, it takes time to ramp up a business and start making a profit
and money. Yeah, you talk about, you need startup capital.
Exactly. And I mean, they got that from the lawsuit, but who knows what else they did with that money first? Maybe they paid down some of the debt, because that was a big issue last season as well.
Right.
But they shouldn't have to deal with the house anymore, because Meech had caught the house up without them knowing last season. So,
but see, that's another thing. That's another thing. Meech caught your bills up, so you in the dirt. You already got dirty money behind you, anyways.
But remember, he was trying to get him to take it back. He didn't even want that. Remember, he was like, go back to the bank, get the money back. And she was like, I can't do that. Like,
that's part of why Charles moved out last season.
Yeah, that's why he was mad. He was mad.
Yeah, so it's a lot going on within that family, and there's so many different reasons why they are kind of stuck in this position that they're in, despite their efforts to elevate themselves. And so that's why I just, like, we all know from the real story, that's why Terry gets pulled back in. And it's so easy to get roped back in when you see your brother living high on the horse and you over here struggling, trying to live an honest life. It's like, what am I doing all of this for?
He has a baby. He has a family. Like, she, LaWanda's giving her pipe dreams, so maybe we can move back in together and, be a family and stuff. I mean, it's expensive.
Yeah, it is. So I'm happy about this season. I'm so happy that it's back. I'm looking forward to see what they got up their sleeve for us this season. We, of course, interviewed Randy Huggins, who is showrunner for BMF. So if you have not watched that interview, you can go back into our archives and look for our Randy Huggins interview, because that was an amazing one. I really enjoyed that a lot, and hopefully we can get him back for this season.
Yeah, it was amazing too, because when I went to the American Black Film Festival, I went to the showrunner panel and I saw Randy and a couple other folks. Look, skipping me. My names are skipping me right now, but it was an awesome panel for showrunners, and I was happy to see that BMF was getting its shine.
Yeah, and we know that they're bringing a lot of new people in. We have seen that Miami Carisha is going to be joining the show. We also have seen from this episode that Leslie Jones is a part of the show as the police officer. And Monique is going to be joining as an Atlanta strip club owner. So this is going to be interesting to see with all these new faces added to the show. I'm excited to see how that is going to play into this story. And of course, it's based on real life. So all of our predictions, we can kind of know where it's going to lead eventually, but how much they're going to add some embellishments here and there, that's what's kind of like,
Right, so, for entertainment value, you know.
Right. Yeah, so I enjoyed it though. Do you guys have anything you want to add before we close out?
I was just saying, in addition to our interview with Randy Huggins, you know, Nicole Brianna White, we interviewed her. Lil Zane, Miles Bullitt, aka Slick, rest in peace. Right. He got his water cut off last season.
Yeah, and you should find all that in our playlist too. So, you know, don't forget to hit that because we got a lot of great stuff in the playlist for you.
Yep, and if you are not subscribed already, you are going to want to be. Also, click that notification bell so that you get alerted every time we post. And drop down the comment section right now and let us know what you thought about this episode and where you think things are going to go this season. So I'm interested in seeing how you guys felt about this first episode.
I thought it was solid. I thought it was a solid episode.
I want to hear how you all think, what you all think about Lamar and where you did it. I would really like to hear what y'all think.
They probably weren't surprised that he wasn't dead.
No, I tell you, I was though. I was a little bit surprised. You know, surprised in the idea that you would bring him back like that. But like I said, if you're not going to kill somebody, it's a headshot.
Right. He didn't get a headshot. He didn't get a headshot. And like I said, if they were staying true to the story, like I said, the real Lamar, his name isn't Lamar in real life, but the guy who is really Lamar is really still alive. So, you know, so they're being true to the story in that sense.
Yeah.
If they killed him, it would have been for entertainment value.
Right.
So. Right. So, like I said, it's tough with these predictions for a story based on real life because you don't know when they're going to throw you a curveball with something that did or did not happen in real life. So you just got to be in the know to know what's real and what wasn't.
And you notice it starts off the episode with saying like some of this stuff may be true, some of it may not be.
Right.
You know, like
exactly. Yeah. So I think we had a good conversation. Please make sure you guys come back next week where we will discuss episode 2. And like I said, follow us. We are on all major platforms, YouTube. Make sure you're subscribed. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok. We're on all of those platforms. So give us a follow there to keep up with us as well. And I think on that note, we're probably going to go ahead and call it a night, y'all. So we'll see you next week.
All right.
Good night.
Good night.
good night.
Yeah, I gotta keep it trendy on my soul. I'm the most selfish person that I know. Here we go, down the rabbit hole. Got a couple carrots around my neck. Self-respect, when you out of line, you put yourself in check. They don't hear me, they don't hear me though. Cycles going round and round and round like a merry-go. Stand for truth, or fall for any old scenario. That's why I keep my circle smaller than a Cheerio. Cause it's the company you keep. Stay woke, please don't get caught slick.